What's up everyone and welcome back to the World History channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. If you're into that kind of thing, here's how to summon one. Succubi are female demons who appear as pretty women and enter men's dreams. They eat men's bodily fluids and steal their life force, according to folklore. Naturally, succubi are terrifying. However, a little bit of cautionary folklore will not stop someone from summoning a succubus. Sadly, the internet is full of erroneous rituals for summoning a succubus, so anything you read should be taken with a grain of salt. By the way, what could possibly go wrong? Physical devotion is one way to summon succubi. Rituals can be used to play into the idea that succubi are very sensual demons because they are often portrayed in that light. The summoner is put in the right frame of mind by lighting candles, incense, and other similar items, which is almost always a great first step. While imagining a succubus, delicately apply oils to the body to entice the demon. After that, simply begin moving while contemplating sexual activity. At first, it may seem silly, but spirits apparently enjoy being teased. After all of that, it's a good idea to request a nighttime visit from the succubus, then to drift off to sleep and dream about her, making sure not to finish before you do. Everything that was wrong in order for grisly man to die spells for visualization can bring about partial manifestation. When summoning a succubus, protection is of the utmost importance. In order to keep unwanted possessions out, a circle of white chalk or thread can be used as insulation. In addition, the protective magic can be enhanced by using 3 to 5 black candles that are spaced equally around the circle. Relax and center yourself while lying inside the circle with your limbs spread out once you feel safe. Feel at ease in the circle and imagine it becoming a doorway through which the demon can enter. A manifestation willing to socialize should appear if everything is done correctly. Consider the implicit danger of summoning a succubus before diving in. A succubus is a young woman with avian or reptilian features and possibly cloven hooves, according to Encyclopedia Satanica. The fact that a succubus's private area reportedly resembles an ice cavern, and that their alleged goal is to return young men's seed to incubi, their demonic male counterparts, is perhaps the most alarming aspect. That probably won't be a problem for people who summon a succubus to harass an adversary or have some demon-related conversations. A succubus might not be the best companion for people who have more mature thoughts on their minds. It is possible to persuade Lilith to send one of her daughters by writing her a letter. According to Jewish folklore, Adam's first wife was Lilith. Lilith is a mythical figure. To summarize, things did not go as planned, and she gave birth to a large number of children. Some people think those kids are succubi. If you write a letter to Lilith and sign it with your full name and some blood, you might get her to talk to one of her daughters favorably. Burn the letter with a candle when it is finished, being sincere and respectful. Relax, spend 30 minutes with a candle, and hope Lilith is impressed. Continue the ritual slowly and consistently. It is essential to take all necessary precautions prior to entering into any kind of relationship with a succubi because of the possibility that they are evil demons who are hell-bent on sucking the life force out of anyone who summons them. Meditation or, at the very least, reflection on how a succubus might improve one's life in a way that simpler methods cannot as suggested by some. It is essential to slowly establish a relationship with a summoned succubus after considering that question. During multiple interview sessions, spend time getting to know them and always take the necessary precautions. This part of the process can be made easier with the help of divination tools. Because spirits don't always fit neatly into predetermined categories, these interviews may reveal that succubi aren't always what they seem. Scrying in Black Mirror may provide a hint of a demon. On a physical level, black mirrors are exactly what they sound like, a reflective surface that has been colored black through natural or man-made processes. In some esoteric circles, black mirrors are used to scry, or use a reflective object like a mirror or crystal ball to predict the future. The ritual of speaking with a succubus through a black mirror is fairly straightforward. Focus on the flame's reflection by placing a candle between the seer and the mirror. Call Lilith or any other succubus and politely request communication. Continue scrying if the flame remains calm. If it becomes irrational, apologize to the entity and cover the mirror, taking care not to damage it. It's important to remember that this is the last step where the ritual can be safely ended. If a succubus picks up the phone, it's usually rude to hang up. Pendulum divination can be used to talk to spirits in any way. A popular divination tool is a pendulum, which is made by hanging a weighted object from a cord and interpreting the swing's direction. When answering yes/no questions, it is common practice to link specific answers to specific directions. A pendulum, on the other hand, is used to make words in other ways. On a piece of paper, draw a semicircle around the numbers 1 through 24. On a separate sheet of paper, at random, assign each number a letter value, and then try to forget which letters they go with. This is done to stop you from cheating subconsciously by swinging the pendulum in the direction of the answers you want to hear. Request the presence of a succubus, explain the communication game to her, and then see if she wants to participate. Begin asking questions if the pendulum swings in the affirmative, noting the numbers struck and determining whether the word is completed between each letter. Create a custom succubus summoning ritual when in doubt. The most crucial step in developing a bespoke summoning ritual is conducting research. In the same way that it is impossible to call a friend without knowing their phone number, succumbing is also impossible. It is essential to decide what to ask the spirit once it has been selected. The ritual is likely to end in a stalemate like most conversations with random strangers if there is no predetermined objective and request. In addition, you must devise a means of dispelling the spirit once it is summoned because no one wants to spend the day with a demon in their bedroom. The remaining requirements are nothing more than set dressing. Candles, incense, or a blood sacrifice are all good options, depending on the kind of spirit you want to attract. To really feel a sense of connection, make the ritual as personal as you can. The terms and characteristics of the succubus can be explained by candle magic. Many witches use the versatile method of candle magic to cast spells. It involves burning a candle while concentrating on the spell's purpose and inscribing or anointing it. To summon a succubus, all one needs to do is write down the characteristics they want in a demon on a candle. Black candles are said to work best. The candle can be written with almost any detail. The succubus's ability to manifest can even be specified in terms of time, such as 40 minutes or 7 days. Simply light the candle once it has been written on it and focus on your desire, asking the succubus to appear whenever it chooses. Lucid dreaming is a good way to get succubi. Training the body to become aware of itself while asleep is necessary for lucid dreaming. Because of this, the person who is dreaming can take charge of the dream and direct it in their own way. You can do almost anything once you have control of your own dream, including summoning a succubus and interacting with her. Sadly, lucid dreaming requires a lot of training and a long road to full control, but there are some ways to speed things up. The wake-induced lucid dreaming (WILD) method is one of the most widely used training methods. While the body is sleeping, this involves keeping the mind active. People frequently use poems, intricate daydreams, or complex math problems to keep their minds active while they sleep. Usually, it takes a lot of tries to get out of the hypnagogic state, but the dreamer should eventually fall asleep without losing their self-awareness. The only thing left to do after dreaming is to call out to a succubus. Succubi can be summoned through hedonism, according to some Christian sections. Succubi are demons summoned by all forms of sensual impropriety, according to some Christian thought. This indicates that summoning one could be as easy as indulgent yourself, having an extramarital affair, or even looking at explicit images. Even though this depicts the succubus in a particularly metaphorical light, it still serves a useful purpose in summoning. Scrying and divination, for example, can be combined with these other techniques to produce even more concrete results. Simply call out to Jesus and stop doing whatever you're doing whenever you feel the need to expel such a spirit. According to folklore and various very shady parts of the internet, you are definitely not alone if you have ever found yourself lying awake at night and staring at the ceiling, wondering if summoning a seductive demoness from the underworld might spice up your metaphysical love life. Whether you're a curious occultist, an edgy goth dabbling in candlelit chaos, or just really bored and alone on a Tuesday night, the idea of intentionally summoning one of those infamous, sultry spirits of demonic origin known as succubi has been creeping into the fever dreams of mankind for centuries. However, you should probably know exactly what you're calling into your life, or your bedroom, before you go scrawling pentagrams in lipstick and lighting incense from that one suspiciously small downtown shop. According to lore, a succubus isn't just a sexy specter in lingerie. She's a soul-siphoning nightmare with a smile, a penchant for dreams, and a tendency to drain your life force drop by drop with every visit. They're described in ancient texts as beautiful women with subtle but disturbing demonic features. Cloven hooves, bat wings, icy cold flesh, eyes like endless voids. And though they can be deeply alluring, they are not just some edgy fantasy creature with a Netflix drama arc. Demons are these. Allegedly. Let's go ahead and walk through the many ways to summon a succubus. Rituals that are steeped in hearsay, arcane symbolism, and a heavy dose of, don't try this unless you're prepared for potentially horrific consequences. If you are still undeterred and decide that a brush with the supernatural sounds like a fun way to flirt with death, damnation, or at least a very weird dream. Succubi's sensual nature is at the heart of many rituals for summoning. It is claimed that physical devotion, yes, that means exactly what it sounds like, gets their attention. Dim lighting, candles in black or red, and incense made of dragon's blood or patchouli are all good places to start. Not only for the ritual, but also to fully immerse your mind in the intention of seduction and spiritual vulnerability. Anoint yourself with oils. The key is to visualize your ideal succubus, including not only her physical appearance but also her presence, energy, and aura. Also, as you move your body sensually or in a ritual way, imagine the air becoming thicker, the temperature changing, and the veil becoming thinner. She is attracted to longing, not just lust according to folklore. In your dreams, gently, mentally, or even out loud, ask her to come to you. And don't, under any circumstances, finish beforehand. Some sources claim that succubi are offended by premature gratification. Others simply assert that you will faint and disrupt the ceremony. In any case, abstain. Visualization spells might be of assistance if you want an invocation that is more structured. Even though calling a succubus might sound like ordering takeout from the astral plane, you really don't want any unwelcome guests to show up. To protect yourself, draw a circle of chalk or salt around you. Place 3 to 5 black candles in the circle at equal distances to create a sacred perimeter of intention. Clear your mind by lying down in a starfish position. Think of the circle as a portal instead of a boundary. A space opening through which something seductive, ancient, and possibly sinister can enter. If everything goes according to plan, you might notice, feel, or see something. A flicker in the flame, a whisper in your ear, or a presence out of the corner of your eye. Don't get scared. Succubi, in particular, are sensitive to your feelings. Everything depends on confidence, clarity, and agreement. In light of this, you ought to take a moment to reflect on your motives for attempting to summon a succubus in the first place. Are you looking for companionship, knowledge, vengeance, or pleasure? Do you just want to spice up your nighttime routine, or do you want a partner in forbidden rituals? Succubi are not moral, but they are not evil either, according to a number of occult texts. They are erratic, cunning, and transactional. They may remain for days, months, or even years after being summoned. They might develop possessiveness, or even worse, parasitism. Night terrors, hallucinations, depression, sexual dysfunction, and chronic fatigue have been reported by some victims of alleged succubus hauntings. Therefore, it bears repeating. Why are you acting in this manner? There are alternatives to sensual rituals and chalk circles if you're still in doubt. According to some Jewish folklore, writing a letter to Lilith, the primordial mother of succubi, is one of the most ancient and poetic methods of summoning a succubus. According to ancient legend, Lilith was Adam's first wife who was rejected for daring to assert equality. She allegedly fled into the wilderness and gave birth to numerous demon daughters. Send her a letter asking for her assistance to get in touch. Be genuine. Use formal, respectful language. If you want to be traditional, you can sign your name in full and state your intentions. A pinprick will do. You don't need to go overboard. Burn the letter by candlelight and meditate on Lilith's name after it has been written, allowing the smoke to carry your request into the void. Keep silent for 30 minutes with your eyes closed. One of Lilith's daughters may visit, if she likes what she reads. According to succubus lore, visits are rarely reciprocal. The relationship must be carefully nurtured once contact is made. This is not a one-and-done situation like dating. Using divination tools, you should conduct interview sessions with a succubus to ascertain her intentions, preferences, and expectations. Esoteric practitioners frequently use tools like black mirrors. A black mirror is a highly polished, darkened, reflective surface used for divination, communication with spirits, and scrying. Dim the lights, place a candle between you and the mirror, and speak aloud. Respectfully request communication with Lilith or your intended succubus. You may be receiving a response if the candle flame flickers wildly or the mirror appears to ripple. Avoid forcing it. Cover the mirror right away and apologize loudly if you feel uneasy or afraid. According to folklore and the 7 years of bad luck, you should never smash it. Pendulum. Another tool in your spectral dating arsenal is divination. To answer yes/no questions. This straightforward strategy makes use of a weighted object suspended from a string. In order to prevent their own subconscious from cheating the answers, some advanced practitioners assign letters to numbers and then scramble the code. You will begin to receive words, messages, or even responses to very personal questions if a succubus decides to play. Keep a journal because spirits despise repetition. Don't worry if none of the conventional approaches work. The occult is a creative sandbox in and of itself. A lot of people come up with their very own individual succubus rituals based on intuition, reading, or even dreams. The guidelines are straightforward. Prepare a means of dismissal, define your objective, and select your target spirit. All of these things, candles, music, incense, oils, blood, even erotic poetry, are just ingredients. The purpose is what matters. A personal ritual ought to be spiritually solid, visually evocative, and emotionally resonant. It's fine if it feels theatrical. Every ancient culture believed that performing, art, and passion elicited responses from spirits. Candle magic deserves a special mention here. Candles in black are best, but you can use any color that means something to you. Write words, runes, or qualities you want the succubus to have on the candle. Burn it while you're contemplating your desire, and then say out loud what you want, why you want it, and what you'll give in return. Sincerity is valued by spirits. Just don't give your soul away unless you're absolutely certain, and maybe even then, not at all. Lucid dreaming is one of the most secure methods. If you master the ability to become conscious within your dreams, you can build entire worlds, castles, forests, boudoirs, and call a succubus into that dream reality. Using methods like wake-induced lucid dreaming, wild, and mnemonic induction of lucid dreams, mild, training for lucid dreaming can take weeks or months. Maintaining awareness while falling asleep, navigating the hypnagogic state, and entering the dream lucid are all part of the process. You can call a succubus from within by imagining her form, calling her name, or creating a space for her. What's the benefit? Your own mind safeguards you. The threat. You might not want to get out of bed. Live a life of hedonism, perhaps the oldest and most passive strategy. If any of this seems a little too formal. Succubi, according to some Christian texts, are attracted to sin, indulgence, and lustful behavior. This indicates that these demons could potentially use any moment of indulgence, self-gratification, or temptation as a beacon. They are drawn to feelings like guilt, longing, frustration, and fantasy in addition to actions. Some people think they get their energy from it. Others contend that succubi are merely metaphors for repression, shame, or the darker aspects of sexuality. In either case, if you choose to follow that path, you shouldn't be surprised if your dreams become more vivid, your nights become more restless, and your subconscious becomes a little bit more crowded. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to expel a succubus, whether she has outstayed her welcome, turned threatening, or just won't stop whispering when you try to watch Netflix, you can always try the tried and true methods of assertive prayer, salt circles, banishing incantations, or simply saying no with conviction. Letting go is the hardest part, just like in any bad relationship. However, unlike bad relationships, ghosting some succubi may actually cause them to vanish. If you like that kind of thing, summoning a succubus is not your typical Saturday night activity. Unless your Saturday nights involve chalk circles, candlelight, and a lot of nerve. Succubi are female demons who, according to centuries of folklore, seduce men in dreams and deprive them of energy, essence, and allegedly life force. So spooky things, yes. However, the danger only enhances the attraction for thrill seekers, ritualists, and erotically curious individuals. There are a few recurring themes among the numerous online how to summon a succubus guides, which range from amusing to truly terrifying. Physical devotion, for instance, is crucial. That means using sensual oils, candles, and incense to set the mood and concentrate mentally on your desire and intention. The idea is to pretend to be a lustful being in order to get their attention. Of course, it's foolish to enter without protection. To keep whatever might come, traditional magicians insist on creating protective circles out of salt, chalk, or thread and surrounding them with black candles. Visualization is key here, picturing the circle not just as a boundary, but as a portal for her arrival. And if you mean it, are you serious? Think about writing a letter to Lilith, the fabled succubi mother.